The story began in Lin Tian, an ancient city. Our main character was reminiscing about the events that had transpired in his world. A disaster had occurred, leaving all the people in a state of confusion and panic. They were shouting about a monster. As they caught sight of it, they couldn't believe that it was happening for real. Others were terrified, urging everyone to run. Meanwhile, he sat there, watching his town crumble apart due to the advent of this disaster. A large, monstrous entity spreading death and despair. Amidst his confusion, his phone rang. It was his girlfriend, SAUCEsy, calling. At that moment, as the monsters approached and everyone fled for survival, he stood in the middle of it all, telling himself that he couldn't die there. That day was significant. It was the day he would finally see his girlfriend again after 3 years. As he affirmed this to himself, a large explosion occurred, and he found himself burning, thinking about their plans. He had so many questions for her, but as he struggled to reach his phone, he realized that he might die there. Delusional, he imagined himself and his girlfriend happily together. His hand fell into the sea, and as a last resort, he told his girlfriend that he guessed he wouldn't be seeing her again. His spirit left his body, which was lost to the sea. It had been a while since aliens quietly began their invasion of Earth. At first, people dismissed these strange occurrences as rumors, until disaster befell them. In 1934, the corpse of a giant dragon fell from the skies into the northern seas of Dongchuan, overturning the fishing boats ashore. The next day, the body mysteriously vanished without a trace. In 1947, there were sightings of a monster resembling a giant crustacean in the western seas of Malayguo. There were more than 100 witnesses and a total of 15 casualties. In 2020, a giant monster was sighted in the southeastern district of Longguo, accompanied by a blood-red moon in the sky. However, they all vanished the next day as if they had never been there. The casualties were attributed to accidents. As incidents occurred everywhere, people claimed that everything was fine. But then another incident occurred. Lin Tian City was annihilated in a single night. Drone footage showed nothing but ashes. They said they should leave, as these incidents were becoming more frequent. After all, just sitting around and praying wouldn't do any good. While discussing the incident in Lin Tian Ancient City, in the water beside them, where many water lilies spread, our MC began to regain consciousness and slowly opened his eyes, wondering why it was so noisy. As he opened his eyes, he asked where he was and noticed that he had fins. In a state of confusion, he thought it impossible that he had turned into a fish. Upon realization, he was shocked and in disbelief. He shouted, asking what was going on. As he panicked, he noticed a shining mirror in the sand. Approaching it, he braced himself for what he might look like as a fish. When he saw his reflection, he was stunned to see that he had become a tiny carp. Reflecting on his situation, he questioned whether he was supposed to be dead, remembering the giant monster he had seen before his demise. He wondered if it was all because of that creature and what had happened to his girlfriend and the monster. As he swam, he expressed a desire to go out and have a look, despite the limitations of his form. He thought he would be fine as long as he could get out. However, a large shadow appeared behind him, and in the mirror, he saw a large crab monster. He ran helplessly, trying to escape and survive, not wanting to become prey. Cornered and scared, he didn't know what to do as he faced a dead end. Thankfully, a large fish appeared and ate the crab, causing the other crabs to flee. Another big fish came by and ate the fish that had eaten the crab. As he witnessed this, he hastily found a hiding place, a can where he could take refuge. He realized that leaving was not an option. He was having trouble just staying alive amid so many predators. As he contemplated his situation, a notification popped up, announcing that the invincible leveling system had been activated successfully, and a mermaid system appeared. Surprised and confused, he asked the system what exactly it was. The system mermaid took his hand and swam fast, taking him away. As they ascended at high speed, he helplessly screamed, overwhelmed by the velocity. After a moment in the shallow water, our MC was vomiting, while his system mermaid looked on with a smile. He asked her who she might be, and as she approached, she explained that she was his system. She pointed her finger at his head, and his status window appeared, displaying his name as Lin Hao, Level 1, Race, Black Koi, Body Length, 3 centimeters, weight 0.4 g, combat power 0.1, with no skills and an evolution point of 0 out of 50. Seeing his status, he inquired about how to increase his level. His system instructed him to start eating to level up, pointing out food for him to consume. Without hesitation, he ate the food, and a system notification informed him that he had devoured breadcrumbs, earning him 0.1 evolution point. Now understanding the process, he noticed many breadcrumbs falling from above and began to eat them voraciously. As night fell, he relaxed on a rock, snoring, until a system notification woke him, indicating he had gained 5 evolution points. His system mermaid observed him as he lamented the small increase for such effort, questioning its fairness. Suddenly, he noticed more breadcrumbs, and as he ate them, he gained an additional 0.5 points. He wondered who would feed fish at such a late hour and decided to investigate. A girl stood there, feeding the fish, looking at a locket necklace with pictures of her and her boyfriend. She lamented how close they were to seeing each other again, and whispered Lin Hao's name, the name of her boyfriend, as tears fell. Our MC heard the name Lin Hao, the same as his, and wondered if her husband had passed away too. The girl seemed so sad. Suddenly she dropped her pocket necklace, and the fish, including our MC, avoided it. As the necklace sank, she became even sadder, her tears flowing freely. A man called out to her, addressing her as Captain Luo, and informed her they were moving out. She wiped her tears, trying to hide them, and acknowledged the order, promising to hang in there and find him once everything ended. Meanwhile, our MC looked at the necklace and saw himself and his girl in the picture. It surprised him. It was SAUCEsy, his girlfriend. He rushed to the surface, telling her not to be reckless and to wait for him, claiming he was still there. But SAUCEsy was gone. He cried, frustrated by his inability to speak to his girlfriend, wondering how he could go on without her. Remembering the pocket necklace, he saw it sinking deeper, surrounded by predators. Despite his doubts, he knew he had to retrieve their special keepsake no matter what. He lamented their missed connections and cried again, but then he wiped away his tears, becoming motivated, promising to do his best to return. He dove down to level up by eating small fish, his system watching his determined evolution. She noted that others usually moped around for days, but she had never seen such an eager fish from the start. A system notification announced that he had fulfilled the conditions for evolution, asking if he would like to evolve now. As he clicked yes, an electric aura emitted from his body. His system encouraged him, saying the sky was the limit. After an hour, the transformation was complete. His system looked at him expectantly, and he screamed, admitting he was scared of her. She inquired why leveling up took so long, and he explained that he felt longer and his scales tougher. His system flirtatiously asked which part got longer, and he thought to himself that his system seemed like a perverted mermaid. His status window updated, showing his body length at 45 centimeter, weight at 4 kilo, combat power at 1.2, and he had gained skills, a mighty tail swipe, steel scale armor, and now needed 200 points to evolve. He asked if his new skills were good, and his system explained that the scales became as hard as steel for 3 seconds, with a 10-second cooldown. He found it quite impressive. Noticing fish eating a dead fish, he rushed over and beat them up. A large fish appeared, intending to devour him, but he quickly activated his skill, breaking the fish's teeth. The fish swam away crying, and he looked on seriously. His impressive behavior triggered a system update and quests. Devour 100 black shell shrimps for enhanced night vision, and devour a mutated creature for a random new skill. Surprised, he asked if he could also clear quests like that, and what lay at the end of all the devouring and evolving. His system hinted that the real prize for finishing quests was much more than just that. He asked if these things could make him human again, and she suggested that anything was possible, gesturing dramatically. He turned and thought about going deeper to evolve and complete his quests, considering that if it was possible to become human again, his first priority was to retrieve their keepsake. As he rushed off, his system reminded him that venturing into deep waters meant facing many dangerous sea monsters there. He knew it meant they might die there, but he was determined to retrieve their keepsake, his lover's memento. He told her she needed to stay out of it, as he hid in the seagrass, observing the surroundings. Noticing that there were no sea monsters around their keepsake, he thought it was the perfect time to act. As the big fish that had been circling the pocket necklace dispersed, he seized the opportunity to retrieve it. Rushing towards it, he was elated to finally get it back. However, his joy turned to fear as he saw a large eelfish surrounding it. It reminded him of the feelings he had back in Lin Tian ancient city. The same sense of foreboding enveloped him.